Hey everybody, how you doing? My name is Mac. I'm a sommelier in Philly, and I want to talk to you today about some wine. Today I'm going to pull out a white wine. When I first started getting into wine, I thought I didn't like white wine because it's a thing I heard lots of people say. I don't know if I actually didn't like white wine or if it was just like a popular thing to say you didn't like, but it was a thing I had as like a strong conviction. But the my friends at Townsend here in Philadelphia, when I go to that restaurant, I'd sit at the bar, and my whole shtick was to never order, right? Like I'd like pick up my food, but the bartenders there always just, kind of guided me through the wines they had, and they kept handing me whites and rosés, and I kept thinking, well, I don't like white, and then they kept giving me white wines that I liked, and so over time, I had to admit to myself that I was wrong and they were right. Um, so as I started looking into it, I realized that I don't think it's so much a white wine that I dislike as much as it is a sweet wine. Generally, I don't like. I'm not a big fan of jammy flavors. Not a big fan of things that are like overly sweet. I like a dessert wine, but if I'm looking to drink something just regularly, that's not my thing. So the one I want to talk about today is one I actually haven't had a chance to try yet. I'm going to try this right here in front of y'all. This is the Charles Frey Rayon de Lune. It's a Pinot Blanc from Alsace. Pinot Blanc is a grape, and but in Alsace, if it's Pinot Grigio, then it's 100% Pinot Grigio grapes. But if it's Pinot Blanc, it's basically any white wine made from a grape in the Pinot family. So this could just be Pinot Noir that hasn't been placed on skin contact at all. So the contact with the skin and the must and the grapes, that's what turns the wine red over time. But if you crush it real fast, don't give it the skin contact, it could stay white. So I'm not really entirely sure what's in this. So Alsace is known for dry wines traditionally. Over the last several years, or however long, they've been trending more sweet over time. Right, it's right there on the border of Germany in northeastern France, and it's been Germany, off and on through the ages. That's an area that's kind of disputed back and forth over time. So there's a very Germanic sort of influence on this area, which you can kind of see from the difference in the bottle. It's got that like long, slender, sort of like bullet shape. But it's not German wines. What you find though is German wines traditionally tend to be a little sweeter, and over time it's become more in fashion to be drier. And the Alsatian wines started out really dry, and now it's becoming more in fashion to make those sweet. And so I'm a big fan of Alsatian wine myself, as long as it's on the drier end of things, which typically it tends to be. Charles Frey is an interesting winemaker to me. They're big into biodynamic winemaking and have been for over a decade. In the winery, they plant every other row with grass. They do a lot to try to encourage, more wildlife and bugs and whatnot. Now that's kind of dangerous to do when you're growing wines because you don't want things like, wine moths and those sorts of things that come in and destroy your vineyard. So what they've actually done is gone the extra step to try to encourage certain kinds of birds that will eat the pests that they don't want to be there in the vineyard by creating certain kinds of bird houses and those kinds of things around the edges of the winery. But it's supposed to be a very biodynamic soil type, and a good place to grow good fruit. Which again, it's not going to necessarily affect the taste of the grape if a certain things in the soil or not. But healthier soil means healthier grapes means better wine in general. So this is actually my first time trying this right here in front of you. If you told me this was a cider off the smell, I'd believe it. It's got a very very sort of appley sort of a smell. It reminds me of the drier ciders I've had from Citizen Cider up in Vermont. Just a little bit of citrus on the nose. That's interesting. As appley as it smells on the nose, it's a lot more of a stone fruit when you taste it, which sometimes it'll, after you taste the wine and go back and smell it, you'll get like a different note. But in this case, I'm still getting a lot of apple notes on the nose, but when you taste it, it's a lot of like peach or not peach, pears. Not pears. Sorry. What are my stone fruits? Peach, nectarine, apricot. Probably apricot. Maybe. Not a lot of oak or anything, just a very clean wine. It's really nice. I can see this going really well with, again, right now I'm tracking on wines for Thanksgiving, which is the reason why I wanted to try this out. And this definitely, I think, would fit really well, like a roast turkey or ham, something a little salty maybe, or maybe like before you start eating dinner. If you're like me, big fan of brie and crackers or whatever as you're getting drunk while you're making Thanksgiving dinner. Yeah, excellent wine. I probably do maybe 90 points on this. Probably seasonal for me. I think this is probably the time of year I'd really dig into this. Big fall time wine, but it's got a very savory component to it, which is nice. I think it would hold up really well with a meal. Anyway, thanks for watching. Hope you enjoy wine. Please like and subscribe. Still trying to get that first 100 subscribers. And hope you have a great weekend and enjoy some wine when you do. See ya.